this shoe came out in a time when like Jordan Brand would announce the upcoming season just on the Jordan website with a bunch of images of the shoes and no backstory. So we never even knew why the shoe existed. I don't know that some justification would have made it any better. I still think this is war crime level.
What's up, everybody? It's Joe La Puma. You were watching the Complex Sneakers Podcast. As always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. To my right, Mr. Matt Welty.
We're here.
Maybe take the mic thing out of the...
Oh, I didn't realize
That's okay. A little programming, no, but that's okay.
Mike Peck sitting right between his legs.
He is here. To my left, Mr. Brendan Dunne.
I beat the jet lag allegations.
Hair flowing.
Thank you.
To and fro. Summer in the city.
To and fro, is that a pun?
It is a pun, and don't even ask me how, because I didn't even plan on doing that, but it is. To and fro, I don't want you to cut it. You look like Matthew McConaughey.
In a good way.
What do you mean? What wouldn't Matthew?
Just making sure.
No, in a great. I mean, Matthew McConaughey is good looking.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Keep it long. Keep it long.
Okay.
Don't cut it.
Okay.
Yeah, he has good curls.
I trust your judgment. I trust your wisdom.
Yeah.
To and fro, but only one marathon on deck for the past week.
I know. T said no. T said, listen, inside joke, but T said, no, you're not running to London. Okay? A lot of stuff to get to today. Big 2 IRL drops when it comes to sneakers.
Yeah, should Joe have been in the Corteiz 95 rollout?
There was Bronson was active in the city this weekend. I want to talk Nike Jaw 3. I think that's a great shoe. I want to talk about how the tariffs are affecting Adidas business. Go real sneaker nerd with it.
Corteiz 95s, we alluded to it just now, but also a topic. I don't want to call it a hot button topic, but something that we were thinking about in the past couple of weeks, the worst Jordans of all time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, as you know, Complex Shop open 24 hours, doesn't close. Complex.com/shop. Get your vinyl. Did you buy any vinyl yet?
No.
No? Do you have a record player?
Not anymore.
Okay, the vinyl's moving. Sneakers, clothing, music, it's all there. Complex.com/shop.
I'm back from Boston Marathon this past week in the Adidas Pro Evo 1s, and I was in London right afterward for the launch of the sequel to that shoe, their latest road running shoe, the Adidas Adios Pro Adi Zero Evo 2. And I was thinking about running the London Marathon running it back 6 days later, but a couple coaches shut it down. They felt like it wasn't the right call for me. Welty, what do you think?
Might as well go for it.
You think?
Yes.
You think I made a mistake skipping out?
Yeah, it wasn't his choice. Send him to Heathrow, Terminal 4. Get on and come back, okay?
No, I did have a good time out there in London. I went to the Arsenal match, saw some of our dear friends, Magdi, Mubi, FD, Balu. Yeah, it was...
all the guys.
And please go check out the content from that. I was falling forward, not planned at all, but really putting my body on the line for the content. So please watch our Adidas Adios Evo Pro 2 review.
Say that 3 times quick.
Joe, why didn't they put you in the new Corteiz Air Max 95 unveil?
Well, why would they?
Why wouldn't they?
In the campaign for the Honey Blacks?
Yeah.
You think Joe deserved a spot?
I think so.
I don't think so.
Did you get a pair?
I did get a pair.
Secured the bag?
Yeah, secured the bag. What a great time for the Air Max 95. What a great time for Corteiz. Driving, your favorite word. Let's say it together.
I really don't know what you're talking about.
Motion in the streets.
Oh, my least favorite word.
Okay. You were in London. You didn't make it back for the New York release.
I don't know if I'm allowed.
Yeah, maybe not.
Only disappointment on that shoe, realizing it now, is that, and it's not the release or motion or any of that, is like, it kind of reminds me of, remember when they did the Bacon re-release?
Yeah.
I remember, yes.
Yes. And they had tinkered the Air Max 90 silhouette to make it look more like the OG that year, but that shoe had been delayed for so long that it was no longer on that new shape of the Air Max 90.
I didn't realize that.
And it's when they did the infrared that year, the toe was much sleeker and it was much more shaped to the original shoe.
Okay.
And then the Bacon one was kind of that boxy Air Max 90 silhouette that had gotten retroed through the years. But the only disappointment is that I guess with the advent of the big bubble Air Max 95s,
That this doesn't have the
and
big
the
bubble.
Corteiz not being given that same treatment.
Yeah.
Not that the other ones were, but like if you can get the shoes that look that way right now, which
Yeah,
I think
you want the big bubble.
I think they
version
look
if you could.
significantly better just from the way the shoe looked, you know. But it would have been nice to have that as well on the Corteiz.
Yeah, would have made sense. I think that this shoe was actually supposed to release closer toward the end of last year or just before the big bubble 95 arrived in general, so it makes sense.
Similar
interesting.
situation, I guess. Yeah.
Also, I will say I don't think these are terribly limited. So my recommendation would be don't spend a ton of money on the resale market if you're feeling like that's the way you got to go. From what I heard, there's a lot of pairs out there.
Really? Okay.
Can't confirm that quite
Wasn't
yet.
that kind of the case too with the Huaraches? That like, you know, there was that whole release that you went to, but it felt like afterwards that shoe wasn't extremely rare.
Yeah, but on the Huaraches, I don't know if that was a result of them making a ton of pairs or just
Just
that
the
not
solo?
being, not nearly as coveted a silhouette as the Air Max 95. Also, one other Air Max 95 note, I know the pink foam colorway just came back around.
Those are
And
nice.
Yeah, some people have been wondering why there's no PSI indicators on that. It's been a little bit inconsistent on the Air Max 95 big bubble pairs, whether or not they have the PSI indicators on the bottom. That's intentional. The treatment there from Nike is that if the shoe has come out before with that, like an OG Neon 95, then they're going to have it. But the last time the pink foam came out, they didn't have the PSI indicator, so they're not doing that this time around. So that's the background on all that.
That's funny though, because then I feel like sometimes Jordan Brand would just throw Nike Air on random shoes.
Jordan Brand has been more and more inclined to throw Nike Air on totally random shoes.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a traditionalist, maybe I'm a grumpy old man, but I'm just like, we don't always need that. It doesn't always make sense.
Shifting from the barometric pressure or whatever you were talking about, is Corteiz doing the best in-person releases right now?
Yes.
They haven't missed once. Do you think other collaborators are looking to see how they're doing it and trying to do their own? We talked about it recently, and we did the presentation that you helped with about how IRL drops matter so much right now, and what is the threshold for this is still working, this is still exciting the community, gets tons and tons of pickup. There's a FOMO moments, to be honest, and then how many more and how long is it going to last where this keeps happening?
Yeah, I think it's still fun for now. I do think people will grow tired of it, and I do think that he and Corteiz are setting the tone for cool, interesting, fun. I hate to use this word, but community style in-person releases. Nigel obviously did a great job with that earlier this year. As we've spoken about before, I think it's mostly Nike who's really hitting hard on these things. I struggle to think of too many Adidas ones that have similar energy around them.
You know who did make some energy this weekend?
Who was it? You're not delivering this with much energy.
Action Bronson.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Shopify pop-up in the city.
Both you guys went.
Where were you? You
I
were busy.
was working on something.
Well, we were working
not
too when we were there.
work-related.
We were working.
Yeah, well, okay. I mean, that looked great. The new shoes, another hit. Also, these two people, different collaborators. We talk about some projects that really have done multiple sneakers and really haven't hit like
All misses.
just not what it's supposed to be. And
Yeah.
then you look at someone like Action and you look at Corteiz. And to me, I think the lineup is,
You're saying almost a perfect record.
the discography is crazy to me. Both of those people.
Was the Huarache a hit though?
That's a tough one. Was the Corteiz Huarache a hit? I think that people enjoyed it. I think
I
that
wear
it
them all
brought
the
people
time.
out.
Maybe
I
I'm
think it's a
biased.
good looking shoe. I think if you look at the resale price, it'd be easy to say this shoe is a quote unquote brick or not a hit. I think it did what it was supposed to do. I like the shoe.
Don't you think it's tough, though? This is their fourth Air Max, right? I know
Yeah.
you don't like black and yellow, but pretty much they're all really good.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. And then we look at Action. Really not one miss.
Yeah. I'm super excited about the Action Bronson New Balance 992. I think a lot of Action's work with New Balance has been on silhouettes that are a bit harder to sell. He's not really taking the easy route too often. You have these running shoes, performance shoes, just
I think that those ones are much more like, and it's not to give him a pass on it, but it's much more like a side project rather than like that's the true body of work. Like,
maybe Yeah, maybe I'm misrepresenting the catalog here because there's also the 990 V6s and the
1906.
Yeah, so I guess he does have some easier ones in there. But to me, the New Balance 992 is just such a fastball down the middle, and he just smashed it on this one.
Those are so good.
I'm excited for the sneaker. He put the Baklava logo on the heel, which is the first time he's done that. He's shown some restraint, just doing colorways and not trying to over-rely on the logo here. But we've heard a lot of rumors about when this project is coming and people leaking information about its arrival, and this is the first time we've ever seen it. I'm hyped about these.
Well, the cool thing that he told me was I had done that video at the event, and like he had told me after the fact, and I wish it was in the video, was that essentially that a lot of those shoes that were there at that Shopify event,
Bronson, Baklava.
Yeah, if you saw, there was like a basketball court with all the shoe boxes, for the release or the event, whatever you want to call it.
Was there food there?
Yeah, I got a cookie.
It was his like 360 world. It wasn't just like a sneaker release. They had all the clothes. They had the olive oil. They had
food,
coffee.
Did you cook with it yet?
No.
Okay.
But he had told me that essentially that he had gotten a lot of crap in the past from the releases on all these shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And he had said that a lot of those shoes were there because they were actually canceled orders from bots.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
So they're not intentionally holding back stock. You're saying that this is all the stock that...
He said he likes to hold some back to give other people like a chance to get it when the bots all try to come and resellers and all that sort of stuff. But he said this is also some canceled orders from the bots.
Did you guys think of re-upping on any of your favorites?
No, I have enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I said, I did do the olive oil. I did have a nice gooey cookie. I did have a nice Sunday afternoon there.
Nice, fresh off the jet. Back to work. Glad you guys got the...
What do you mean back to work? I was working out there.
Yeah, we all know.
What about the Nike Jaw 3? Does this move y'all at all? I'm excited about this shoe.
It's much better. Not that the other shoes were bad, but I feel like the Nike Jaw 1 was good in the sense that people are like, oh, at the time, because how many years did that shoe come out at this point now?
Mm-hmm.
That it was like kind of like another Kobe replacement,
That's how you felt when you first saw the Jaw.
Yeah, or I feel like that's how the market felt, where they're like, oh, we can't get Kobe's. The Jaw 1's like a good replacement, like for that, right? Or like a Kyrie replacement, right? So I feel like people thought it was good at the time, and then the Jaw 2 came out. They're not bad shoes, so I don't want to be like, oh, these shoes stunk. But it felt like the sneaker market, or at least we've talked about it many times, like the signatures basketball sneaker market all just became very like homogenous, where like all the shoes are the same. So when all that low top basketball stuff with Puma, etc., and now this one looks at least a little more stepping outside of that box, even though it is a low top shoe, but just the design language on it stands out a little more.
It looks good. I like the colorway too, like the loud colorway. The thing that is really tough, they got swept.
Yeah.
That hurts. Like, didn't they debut it very shortly before the playoffs?
Yeah, and now it was right in that playoff run.
And now they got swept and they're out of it. That, I think, means something.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's hard to judge how low the ceiling on a shoe could be because of things like that. Because if you think about Ja Morant in general, he's had all these setbacks or all these things that have held him back, most of them of his own doing, and then also like the team exiting so soon. It's like, will this guy ever be a superstar? We don't know. So then how big can his shoes be if he doesn't ever get to that next level?
Also, if you go deep into the playoffs, you definitely have special iterations. This was the only colorway, right?
Yeah,
that he wore. That's a big, big thing that didn't line up for him.
We were talking about it yesterday. I'm like, man, that first round series of Lakers and Timberwolves, I'm like, it's really like a lose-lose situation for sneaker brands and the NBA, because LeBron and Luka lose it in the first round.
But the playoffs have been awesome. I was up late last night.
I know, but I'm saying like all the sneaker storylines that can or can't happen in that first round.
Imagine more than LeBron, though.
Yeah, but LeBron and Luka get knocked out in the first round. It's like that kind of is like two of the biggest superstars in the NBA. Ant gets knocked out again in the first round. It's like all those Adidas plans are like by the wayside.
Yeah.
I think it would be more if Ant got knocked out than LeBron and Luka, because I just feel like there's more plans with the playoffs and the Adidas shoes than LeBron and Luka right now.
Yeah,
and I think
would agree with
that they're probably going to win, and we'll see what he's wearing in the next round. But the playoffs have been so good.
Yeah.
Even last night, I'm sure you didn't stay up, right? I know you were on the earnings call early, but Yeah, Steph Curry. Close games. Been a great playoff series.
Can't say I've
What
watched
about
much.
Jalen Brunson? Have you seen what he's wearing? Like all those special Kobe's?
No, I don't watch New York Knicks basketball.
Okay.
Sorry.
What?
I just don't.
All right.
I mean, I don't watch practically any basketball.
I'm
so
going to tell Fat Joe.
I'm
so.
gonna I can't afford any more smoke with him. But Nike Jaw 3, I think it's a great looking shoe. To me, it almost has like a little bit of that early 90s Barkley language of just like aggressive basketball.
Yeah, well, how the way
sneakers.
the way the I want to say the outsole
Yeah.
comes up to the midsole.
Yeah.
Like the sharp.
Yeah, not a role model. Speaking of Barkley, Supreme Barkley. No, we'll talk about that later.
Careful.
Just kidding.
Before I
no, not just
give you
kidding,
a
but we
slap
will.
on the wrist.
What else is coming out? Yachty's Nike Air Force One collaboration.
I need those.
Yes.
I need those.
Isn't this funny? Just the way that like the narrative on that shoe goes.
It is funny because I think the narrative on Yachty's shoes have changed. It went like this, consistent. This is consistent. This, not consistent.
Doing
so
the
if
worm.
you,
They got the sign graph jumping.
if you kind of look back and you see there's some inconsistencies. This one though, also,
Well, I mean, just the whole.
do you think it was really inspired by Arthur Carr's Solomon?
No. Oh, there was like a photo of
Yeah.
the Yachty. No, the shoe is clearly inspired by vintage
I know.
Bapestas.
I love, but it was.
it could be inspired by both. I feel like
It
that's
could be.
I
feel like
need
that's
those.
not
I
a
wouldn't put any
stretch.
money on that.
I need those.
I think
Yachty,
it's a
come
stretch.
on.
the whole talk about it was that he gets signed to Nike and he doesn't cook right in like on the first shoe, or he doesn't do anything creative, and then this shoe is completely not. I mean, I like the first shoe, and it's not like any bias or talk about complex. I just thought the concept was cool. I
Yeah.
like all those early 2000s Air Force Ones. I thought it was cool that he did it, right? Simple as that. But this one is a lot more like sauce on it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Patent leather, wild colorway.
Great combo.
Yeah, I like these a lot.
Might catch me on Mulberry Boys. Shouts to Greg. Union.
I hope I see you out
Yeah,
there.
I might have
I'm
to.
out there a lot, and
I know.
I haven't seen you
I
out
know.
there.
You know what's funny though is because I love that Arthur Carr Solomon, but that was your least favorite of the two. But that's my
With
favorite.
the green
of
and
the
the
two.
yellow.
Okay.
The
hold
green
on.
and orange.
The least
Sorry.
favorite of the two is like being like, I love.
Two shoes.
I like both of them a lot. That blue and pink is
But
one
you're
of my.
all about the blue and pink
Well,
one.
it's one of my favorite shoes of the last 5 years. So, I
So
like.
second place to that is
Come
not
on.
not a diss.
Exactly. That's a headline. That's a clickbait headline you just did there.
It's still accurate.
Like I didn't like it. The shoe.
It's your least favorite of the two.
Technically accurate, but
That's very
It
accurate.
is accurate. But
I'm
You see
agreeing
what I'm
with you.
saying?
However,
who do you? Yeah. Okay.
Yachty's next Air Force Ones are amazing.
Need those. Do we have a date?
I heard they're coming soon.
Okay. I
We'll
need those.
we'll confirm it by the
Are
next.
we going to be able to
episode.
get them? Like you think? In stores?
I
Are
think
they-
you'll be okay.
Okay.
I think you'll be just fine. Like you
Okay.
said, I was up early this morning.
Yes. Anything?
Adidas earnings call. Not that consequential. Actually, they did put a clip from the Sneaker of the Year panel in
Oh,
there.
which one?
Like this past year, yeah, the
A1.
Complex Con, yeah, the one. So that was a nice little shout
only
out.
one.
They had a bit of tariff talk on there. I don't know how interested people still are in tariffs, but Adidas' CEO Bjorn Golden was talking about their internal response to the Trump tariffs and how they plan to adjust accordingly.
Yeah.
One of the things they're doing is rerouting some of that China-made product so that it's not going to the U.S. because these tariffs affect U.S. business. But if they can sell some of that product elsewhere, then they're not going to take the hit on the margins. Another thing they were doing was trying to get everything through customs as quick as they can before the April 9 deadline. And yeah, they said they brought out a bunch of suppliers to the headquarters in Germany to kind of meet with them and figure out how they can creatively come up with solutions to all this stuff. And of course, the tariff picture may shift, it may change. There's already been some adjustments into when the window is going to be. So, but he did say if these things come to effect, there will be increased prices on U.S. product, all U.S. product for Adidas. There's really no way around that if these China tariffs, if these Vietnam tariffs take effect. So that's a real thing that could happen for sneakers, for Adidas sneakers specifically here in the U.S. And Nike sneakers would have to be adjusted as well. So definitely interesting to see how these geopolitical climates affect the footwear that we're searching for.
It's all connected.
Mm-hmm.
Your Spezials, the price went up.
You worried about that?
I haven't worn those shoes in a while, but
What's
yeah.
up with that?
Nothing. That it's so crazy
dare
how
you.
much the trajectory. I'm not hating on it at all. It's just crazy. No, it's just crazy how much the trajectory of that shoe has just changed.
Wait, what shoe?
The Adidas handball Spezial. Like
It's different from the Spezial line.
yeah,
you know.
but it's just like you see that shoe just everywhere.
Yeah.
Are you the type that you loved Blink 182 when they weren't famous?
No, it's not
When
that.
they started getting played on Z100, you're like, oh, I can't like it anymore.
No, not
Is that
at
what
all.
you're doing for the Spezial?
No, not at all. It's just
Okay.
I'm just saying it's just ironic sometimes when you just see something everywhere where you had never seen it before. You
But
know?
you were never that big on the Adidas handball Spezial, the sneaker. You were big on the Spezial line.
Yeah, but
more
there's
than the
still
handball
like
Spezial
there's
silhouette,
still
right?
like
Keep them honest.
because there's still certain shoes like the Adidas Manchester is a handball Spezial shoe. That's one of my favorite Spezial releases of all time.
Okay.
Good talk. All right. Okay. There
You brought it
have
up. You brought it up.
There you have it.
Do you guys care about the latest update to sneakers?
Is that an app?
You deleted it off your phone. Okay.
What is it, though?
People were upset at you for talking about it, which is the crazy part.
Wow. Is that...
No, I'm not saying that, but they're like
Clickbait headline.
Wait, they were waiting for him in London?
I'm
must
good
be-
everywhere.
Must be paid by Nike or something.
Oh, wow. Wait.
Wealthy aiding conspiracies.
Let me hear
Never
about
heard of
this.
that before.
Let me hear about this. Let me hear about this.
Latest update to the sneakers app is something called Sneakers Link, which we had to read through the copy a few times to really understand what it is. But these are drops that won't exist in the regular sneakers app feed, and that you can only get to via a link that is shared out either maybe via a partner of Nike's, a collaborator, or some type of in-person event. You might scan a QR code or something like that. So it's a direct launch that you can only access via a link, or if people just copy and paste the link and share it all over cook groups and discords, which is what happened with some of these first test ones that they did. So Nike tested this a few times ahead of officially announcing it. One of the ways they did this was through Eric Koston's Instagram stories, where he posted a link to buy the Navy SB Air Jordan 4 drop. And I actually thought that coming off that drop, a lot of people were happy. It seemed like a lot of people ate on that, and a lot of people got the shoes. And it's funny or ironic because after that, I felt like people had positive feelings about how this drop went. But then when Nike went ahead and officially announced it, or not everyone, but there was a lot of negative feedback of, oh, this is just marketing, or this is just Nike pretending like they care when they don't, and the bots are still going to get my shoes and things like that.
I feel like that release was much different, and I could be wrong, but that release was much different from the white and green pair, where like the white and green pair was like only at skate shops, and there was a lot of like pandemonium around those. There was like, I think there was the release at Crush DC that there was just like madness going outside for the shoe. And then remember there was that thing where it was like you can get the shoes if you had bought non-Dunk SBs.
Where Nike's looking at your purchase history and
You
using
see
that
the-
to
you
inform
see the eye roll
shoes
right
you can
here?
get. You don't approve of that?
No.
Why not?
Looking at your history and being like, oh, you could get them.
Yeah, I mean, look. See, I hate being in this position, and this is why people are like, "You're just
Shilling
working
for
for
the
Nike." I'm not. I'm just trying to explain, based on my understanding, the perspectives of the people at Nike.
A better
who do
chance,
these things.
a better chance of getting them, or you could get them.
You had early access or exclusive access. Sorry.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not into. I change my mind so many times. As much as my rotation stays the same, I change.
Yeah, but then you get exclusive access on something, and then you're all about it.
When's the last time that I've been like, I got exclusive? I got
not on
early,
the app. In
early
real life.
access? I just
Not
meant in
capital
general,
E,
just in
capital A.
general.
Are you saying it's easy for me to say?
No, I'm saying like you're like rolling your eyes at it, but then if you got granted with that exclusive access, it would change your opinion on it.
It would change your life.
I am happy for everyone who gets early or exclusive access. I think checking, what did you buy? Oh, okay, we could do it. Maybe not my thing.
Again, I'm only gonna. This is not me saying Nike did the right thing by doing this. I'm just trying to explain my perspective on what they did. One of the motivating factors they've described for the sneakers link thing is they want the quote-unquote true fans to get the shoes. And
True fans of what?
true fans of skateboarding, true fans of the artist who helped make the shoes, true fans of the collaborator
For
is
the
the
Jordan
way
4 we're talking about?
I interpret it. In this case, for the Jordan 4 SB, so the example being Eric Koston, like if you follow Eric Koston, you're more likely to be into skateboarding, you're more likely to be super into Nike SB than the average sneakers app user. So you will see that link first because
makes
you are
sense.
more engaged with the things that are related to the shoe rather than just you're a person with the sneakers app and you got the notification.
That
and
makes
you wanna buy
sense.
What
the
if you
shoe.
really just like them? And
That's fine with me.
They're not saying that you can't buy the shoes. It's just saying that, like, hey, if you're actually engaged in this community, then
if there are ways that we can determine that you are legitimately a fan of these things, we want to reward you for that. Is my interpretation of it. Whether or not that's a good thing, I'm sure there'll be 200 comments saying that's all lies. The bots are still going to get my shoes anyway.
Yeah.
Good luck with that attitude.
I think how I feel. I'm a little split on it.
I think it's interesting because I feel like a lot of people have said that their personal sneaker apps usage is down, because it's like hitting on a pair.
Mine certainly is.
Hitting on a pair of shoes on sneakers app isn't like really that big of a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Where before it was like, oh, if you hit on a sneakers app release, like
the biggest meme ever.
Yeah, it's a guaranteed $150 in your bank account or something.
I'm actually surprised at the extent to which sneakers is still making these little tweaks and things like that, just because I feel like the general public dissatisfaction with sneakers is a lot quieter or a lot lower than it was before. I feel like there is not as much agitation in the sneaker community about how the sneakers app is rigged and all these things. I feel like people aren't as mad about it anymore.
If you wanted a shoe, you can just get it anyways. So like the usage of the sneakers app, unless it's like something like a Corteiz 95 that you're like, oh, this is going to be hard to get, or a Nigel 4. But anything other than that, you're like, I'll figure out a way to get it.
I guess to that point, I do think that there is something to say, like, you are the blank guy. Like, these shoes are, like, made for you.
Right. If
kind of rewarding that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something that you're super into. That
I just think it's weird to look through, like, the purchase history.
Yeah, but every company's doing that with all your data anyway.
I know. I'm just like, what if you're, like, super into Costin and, like, never buy shoes and you really want them?
Again,
That's my point.
I sound like
That's my only point.
But if you are an equation looking at a group of 1,000 people, and this 200 people bought Costin shoes and this 800 people didn't, and you had to determine which of those people were more into skateboarding, you would say the people who bought the Costin shoes. So again,
I would have made everyone do a kickflip in front of me and then pick.
Okay? Is that the
IRL?
That's the IRL. That's the filter we're using here.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Welty definitely has to do that.
Yeah, that bet's still on. That bet is
people
still
are
on.
invested in that. You know that, right?
I've seen people say that.
The bet's still on. I came up with it, and I'll cash app you. You do the kickflip, and
I thought you were going to get him the shoes. Or no, he has to buy the shoes, and you're reimbursing him. You're not going through the legwork. Flip, you're not going to get the exclusive access on sneakers.
If he does
especially
a heel
after
flip,
this.
And it's not AI, and I see the video, reimbursed. Minute after.
We got the AI cranking around here at Complex, so you gotta definitely take a close look at that video when you see it.
We do. Get with it or get lost.
Should we talk about the sneakers we're wearing?
Sure.
Welty, what do you got?
Nice little tongue fuck.
Oh yeah, these. Shout out friend of the program, Alex Diamond.
Oh yes.
Yep. This is his Nordstrom collaboration on the Saucony Grid Triumph.
Yeah, I was chatting with Alex the other day.
Legend.
He was in my DMs whining.
Oh, okay. Put it out there. I'm a Meunier Air Max 95. What I love about the recent Air Max 95s, besides like the neon big bubbles, the honey blacks that are thankfully waiting for me when I get home. It's a dinner shoe for me. Black leather.
It's a dinner shoe?
Yeah, I can wear these to dinner.
Yeah.
You know?
Wear some black slacks with them
exactly,
or
something. Or navy blue slack. I can wear them.
Dress them up a little bit.
Yes.
They got some leather pairs coming toward the end of the year. Heavy leather Air Max 95s.
Add them to the list.
Where are we
Catch me in Soho. Tons of food options.
We'll see you downtown for sure. The inside, there's
I'm poking him a little.
There's a lot of inside references happening on this podcast.
Yeah,
we'll save for the DVD commentary, then you'll really understand what's going on.
Yeah, listen, okay. Once the cameras go off, me and him sometimes we get into a little bit of a duel out there, right? Put that on camera one day. Now we'll make you subscribe.
Pay-per-view?
Subscription model, right? You in? 50-50?
Get Dana White to set up the plays.
50-50?
Split it down the middle. Can I get a taste?
If you EP it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stranger things have happened.
Subscription. Too raw for YouTube? Me and you sparring? Who doesn't pay $3 a month for that, okay? Yeah.
Easy.
Let us know if you want that, because him and I sometimes we
got to keep the lights on somehow.
Going at it sometimes.
I am wearing the Adidas Addy Star Cushion 3 Pink Pig unheard of Cincinnati collab.
Sneaker of the year?
If you say so.
Well, I'm not, but
you literally are. You literally just said that. What do you mean you're not?
That was meant to be question mark.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, are people saying that?
People online, yeah.
Really? They look clean.
A lot of people were asking me about them. I wore them to the office. I had 4 or 5 people
On the subway or in the office?
in the office.
Okay. Yeah, they look pretty clean.
And Phil's got the Grandma's Couch Rivalry Low, the next one coming out. I think that's the best colorway of that
Another
sneaker yet.
Grandma's Couch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to him. What do we want to talk about today?
Last week, he did a vertical video. Okay? He did 2, actually. He did the Bronson pop-up, but he also
I think he did 3 vertical videos.
3 vertical videos. Did the last one drop yet?
Yes.
What was it?
I did one on Gamma Jordan 11s. Not that
Yes.
many people watched it, so can you please go and watch it?
Out here begging.
It got lost in the algorithm?
Yeah, I don't know.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Okay, but did a vertical video on what are the worst Air Jordans of all time. Hopped out the window. How'd you start the thing?
Is this the worst Air Jordan of all time?
Yeah, you put a little country twang on it, didn't you?
Where'd you get that?
Yeah, he did. And he just did it just then.
It's just a funny voice. I don't know.
Okay. But you said we have them right here.
Yeah.
Let's pick them up.
This was a shoe that we were. How did we first start talking about these Jordan Force Fusions, Welty? This pair that you've dubbed the worst Air Jordan of all time.
I think I had tweeted about it.
Do you believe that this one is the worst one?
Man, out of all the Jordan Fusions...
Can I throw these to
Oh,
you?
no.
you can open
He's
it.
already. Wow. What?
Action-packed episode.
What was that?
What was that? You didn't even try to catch it?
I can't get out, or I would.
Things are really going off the rails here.
Listen, you think these are the worst of all time?
I think these are like the worst Fusion... Like,
Okay, see, he's already
No,
changing the
well,
criteria.
It was
Worst
a question.
fusions.
It was a question mark.
Just like the sneaker of the year thing.
Are these the worst?
They're my size.
You should put them on, Joe.
They're disgusting. I don't even want to. Like, the reason why I didn't even want to open it is these shoes are like not just the looks. Like this pair is foul as all
Oh, you
get
act
out.
like you're not in the woods when you go to New Hampshire.
No, dude, these shoes are. I've
Give me
opened
'em, I don't care.
These are disgusting.
What's disgusting about them? They're moldy? I don't care.
No, they're like.
When did you get so sensitive?
I know.
They've been
Thought
worn
you
by
were an
some
outdoorsman.
random. They've been
Yeah.
worn
Oh,
by some random
they're
person.
worn?
Yes.
Put them back in
Okay,
the
a
box.
little different.
Pass me the shoes.
A little. I thought
Pass
they
me
were
the
just
shoes.
moldy.
I don't
No,
mind.
no,
I don't
no.
mind.
I
I don't
didn't know
mind
that.
getting in the mud. I don't mind getting my
Okay,
hands
go
dirty
ahead.
for this
I mean,
job. Unlike
worn
my
is a little
unlike my
different. I thought they were
coworkers. Here
just
we go.
old and moldy,
Here
so-
we go. You guys are too scared to hold a pair of someone else's shoes. Really? You won't go that far for the
No,
content?
I will because
Really? Here we
I
go.
did it for 10 years of my career.
Here we go.
Lacing. Let me see.
Am I allowed to pass them to you now, or you're
Yeah,
still too scared to hold them in your hands?
What a catch.
Those Heat Rocks, Joe.
Okay. So here's the thing.
This is a terrible shoe.
Here's the thing. This is my take. Not on this colorway. This colorway, this checks all the boxes of a monstrosity. Okay? However, my take, and we're going to go through this list. My take is that some fusions are better than some retro Jordans.
You think there are Fusion Jordans that are acceptable? Air Jordan 5 Fire Red. We're talking about here the
another
Plaid
one. Now
pair.
you're getting like him.
Yeah.
Acceptable is a different thing than better. I didn't say acceptable.
Okay.
Well, there's some like.
Come on.
It just
Come on.
It just as a concept, I feel like it didn't need to happen.
What?
We know that, but
Jordan Fusion.
Jordan Fusion as a concept didn't need to happen.
Yes.
this Fire Red 5 Fusion is better
There's
than
no-
some
there's
of the
no
shoes we're
reason-
going to talk about.
There's no reason, and I know people are like, oh, they re-release the same shoes all the time, right? But there's no real reason that
Good catch.
you ever would have wanted the Fire Red Fusion Air Force One sole over just a pair of Fire Red 5s.
I just love these because they're particularly heinous as a colorway with kind of the plaid situation on the tongue and under the netting and the random shiny sections.
Well, I'd mentioned on release day, I remember a guy came in the store I was working at with like the full fit, like the full Jordan brand
Love that.
plaid shorts and then the white and blue shirt.
Love that. Restore the feeling.
Incredibly powerful. If you're out there listening to this, we want to see photo evidence of that. So
Let's go through the list.
yeah,
There's a lot of
we
them.
compiled some of these. These are what we are calling the worst Air Jordans of all time. This is totally subjective, as it always is when we go through lists, but we were just having fun throwing around some shoes that we remember as just being putrid.
And I want to start with one that I think came up multiple times in the Slack and then
Okay.
also came up when you tweeted
Yeah.
soliciting groupthink today on X. Jordan 7 Retro J2K Filbert.
I'm mad that you spoiled this one because
Oh,
this
sorry,
is
I
the
wouldn't-
one. No. This is
Sorry.
the one that I always felt like as soon as I saw this shoe, this is the worst Air Jordan
This
ever.
is like this. I feel like this is like your personal gripe because it's like I feel like I just don't care about this. Shoe.
Really? You don't think that
It's
this
a
is
bad looking shoe.
It's bad, but it's like
objectively just awful?
it's bad, but it doesn't like I don't like it, but
You're not offended in the same way.
It doesn't make me feel like this is the worst Air Jordan I've ever seen.
I want to know who designed these things. I want to send them to The Hague.
So wait, but take it back to when these got announced. Were you like, this is going to be one?
I thought it automatically set the bar for just a very bad Jordan. And I think that the Air Jordan 7 maybe
Isn't
has...
there 2 colorways of it?
That's
Yes.
even worse. I think the Air Jordan 7 maybe has more bad colorways and more bad versions than
What's the story behind it?
the J2K Filbert thing. That's one of the things too. This shoe came out in a time when like Jordan Brand would announce the upcoming season just on the Jordan website with a bunch of images of the shoes and no backstory. So we never even knew why the shoe existed. I don't know that some justification would have made it any better. I still think this is war crime level, but
I think to start, like, should we just go to like what I think on the list is the worst one?
yeah, what do you think is the worst Air Jordan
This
of all
Jordan
time?
2 multicolor retro women's one.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
No, but I
The
think
Jordan 2 has a lot
Is
of
there
bad
a story
things.
that I'm missing?
I think at the time they had done like almost like an M&M's sort of pack of Jordan 2s where there was like a red one, a blue one, a green one, like the cheapest leather you'd ever seen.
The problem I have with this, and I think when we're looking at this list, you have to think like, okay, aesthetically, I'm not into these, but is there a story I'm missing or something?
Right.
When they don't hit on anything M&M's pack,
Yeah.
stop it. What the pack, whatever it is. These,
No excuse.
terrible shoe.
Yeah.
Terrible. Like, it just is like,
What about the Air Jordan 2 Iron Purple? Will you look up the Jordan 2 Iron Purple for
Yes.
me?
And also
that's
you see
another
the-
one.
Oh, that one's awful.
And there were these Jordan 2s with
That's the
safari print
gray
on them.
that's the gray one with like the purple accents on it.
yeah, but see this one compared to the other one that I just showed.
You think that multicolor one you're talking about is way
Yeah, I
worse?
mean, I could see Dave Matthews wearing these.
I mean, that's...
Even these Jordan 2 retro iron purples, a lot less worse than that multicolor Jordan
if
2
you say
women's.
so. I also think that Iron Purple pair, Joe, when did those come out?
2014.
Yeah, I feel like there are a lot of bad Air Jordans in that era, and I think
Yeah.
we're in a better era for Jordan retros now than we were 10 years ago. And
What was that like? It was like a gray and blue 3 or something like that from that era. Am I tripping? Maybe the black and blue ones? Is that what it is? There was a black and blue 3 from that era.
the Sport Blue 3?
Yeah.
I don't think that one was that offensive. Was that the same one where they made the Kmart version of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this list that I have in front of me, some it seems that are just like very tough to look at. And then some it seems like are projects that maybe we expected more from that fell way short because the Jordan 14 Supreme black and blue is on here. Can you really look at this compared to Fusions?
Well, it's different because like I feel like you expect so much from Supreme.
Yes.
You know, like a Supreme Air Jordan has to be good.
The first one being the Jordan 5's great.
Should be great. And this one is inspired by like, you know how people always give Jordan Brand crap because they're like, oh, they have that bubblegum. I forget even which Air Jordan that is, but it's inspired by Michael Jordan liking to chew bubblegum. And there's a bubblegum on like sole. There's like that, the SNL 6s, right? They're inspired by the jacket he wore on SNL. It's like, what all these random tidbits can you get from Michael Jordan's life?
Yeah.
You're like, the well is run dry.
Yeah.
And like this one is like, he wore a studded leather jacket at some point. I think maybe it's with the Oakley hat.
Yeah.
It's a cool photo, but doesn't really translate to sneaker. Not every like moment of Michael Jordan's life has to be commercialized.
Yeah.
Going back to the Iron Purple, I said 2014. There's a bunch of 2014s on here. One that is bad, and it's a pack.
This is just on the list that we compiled
Yes.
before we got
What
on
is
here.
it?
Champagne and cigar 6s are really bad.
No, I don't...
Is that a
You're
personal
saying-
hate?
Hold on.
This is one. Maybe
These
I
were
feel,
hot when they came out.
Okay, to that point, this is one. Maybe I have a little like personal history because I remember when I was doing the sneaker closets, and I always feel like people would bring these out like it was some sort of flex,
Some sort of big trophy.
and I would always be like, these
Aren't it?
are not it. That green
The
patent
champagne
leather,
pair, maybe, but the cigars
Car?
are nice.
Well, I feel like that shoe was peak like those absurd sneaker photo era where there was people like popping the
course.
bottle of champagne on the champagne 6s.
Of course.
There's a picture of a guy smoking a pair of the cigar 6s.
Okay,
Do you think these are one of the worst Jordans of all time?
That's why it's
And do you
tough.
think they're equally horrid, or do you think just the champagne, because the cigar 6, the Bill Clinton 6 is
What
not.
about the
It's
thing
like
on
the
the
leather.
tongue? The little thing on the tongue. These aren't good, bro.
All right.
You called them the Bill. Oh my God.
What?
He just called them the Bill Clinton 6s.
But do
You're
you,
out of
do-
control.
do you- listen.
I didn't hear that.
Listen.
You maybe double think if there was actually a Bill
We can
Clinton.
move on. We can move on. This is a family show.
I didn't hear that. These aren't good.
But
this is what I just said. You're looking at this shoe, the Fusion, and
Air Jordan
this
5 Fusion.
pack was limited, right? This champagne cigar pack.
Yeah.
Are we?
Well,
The
I feel
best
like
of-
it?
I'm sorry. I've never looked at this on the inside of the tongue. I'm looking back at the Air
Best of
Jordan
both
5
worlds.
Fusion, the best of both worlds.
Some of the Fusions were better.
Air
than
Jordan 12 Fusion, is that the one? Is
That's
that
the
best
one that's, like,
Is that
not
the best
bad.
White
Fusion
and
Air
black.
Jordan?
That one's
Taxi,
not
right?
bad. I mean, there's a.
the taxi.
It's just weird because there's like black cement 4 fusions, right? Where it just has that remember the Air Force One like Max sole?
Yeah.
It has that
With the see-through.
with the bubble on
Yeah.
it. It has that on it, and you're like, doesn't look that bad, right?
Yeah.
And like maybe in some sort of vacuum, if they'd only made that version once and
Yeah.
not made the rest of the fusions,
One time only.
then like that might be okay. Like maybe if they did like 4 of the best Air Jordans of all time,
Yeah.
and then just made a fusion version of them, and like it was one quick like painless release,
Yeah.
and they came out. But the way that like, and I had mentioned in the video that I did, a lot of people forget, it was like that era of Jordan Fusions,
Yeah.
there wasn't Jordan Retros coming out at the same time. There was like the countdown packs were coming out.
And that was the only other thing.
Yeah, and there was a bunch of like maybe random Jordan 1 mids,
Yeah.
but like you couldn't go to the store and buy a bunch of like actual good Jordan releases unless it was a countdown pack. So people would go in the store and they would just see Fusions on the shelf.
And you just got to buy the Fusions.
So it was kind of a crap era for shoes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's one of the worst Jordans of all time, but it is one
What?
shoe that I actually resold.
What?
And it was another one where it was supposed to be this big pack. It was super limited. I was super thankful that I got them, but someone really wanted them, and
What was it?
the Levi's pack is bad.
The Levi's Air Jordan 1.
2008, 3 years.
Well, there
ago.
was
Really?
so-
I remember
I
being a
feel like it
teenager
was-
and really wanting
feel
the
like-
Levi's
See, so
Air
that's
Jordan 1.
interesting.
I feel like it was
I-
coveted just because of what it was.
Yeah.
It was.
But
It was
the
super-
shoes stunk.
I agree. I remember the package, like being on 23rd
came with the
Street.
jeans?
Oh, it was awesome.
23rd Street. Nice.
23rd Street complex. I remember,
NJ.
like, I got gifted it, and I remember someone really wanted it, and like, it's one of the only shoes that
How
I
much you
really
sell it for?
resold. I don't know. It was 2008, but I kept them for a long time, and like they just sat, and I was like,
Did you like them when they came out?
No.
Or you were always like, this is a bad
I
show?
liked the idea of having the package.
Yeah.
But I was like,
You liked
it's one
having
of
the
those
super
shoes,
exclusive thing.
You know, me and Bradley Carbone, there's a cocktail hour after work. I'm like, I'm going to flex.
Yeah, by the way, these are the Levi's ones, you know?
Or you try, like, I know I have ample shoes at the office. I'm going to bring the Levi's out. Or we're going to a Nick, something. Every time I tried to put them on, I was like, this isn't a good looking shoe to me. The package was awesome, but
I feel like the Fusion is interesting to me because I feel like it's almost like a 2-prong approach to like what like nowadays what those sneakers were back then. You kind of like there's revisionist history on both sides of the equation where it's like, okay, just for all intents and purposes, Air Jordan Fusions were never popular in like the super ultra limited collector
no, but
world.
they sold.
No,
Yeah.
of course, right?
Yep.
But they were never like the people who were into the ultra rare collaborations and were obsessive collectors and all that sort of stuff weren't into Fusions at the time. It just wasn't part of the scene, right? But there were a lot of people were just buying Jordans at the time and wearing Fusions. So there is like this kind of
There's this
misconnection where people
divergence in the memory of how hot they were.
yeah, well, there were a lot of people wearing them back in like the tall tee era with like big shorts and stuff. And like, I totally get where people are like, no, Fusions were hot back in the day, right? But if we're talking about our world of limited edition shoes, you know, collectors, this shoe wasn't a shoe for collectors. But now I feel like we're so far removed that there's people who are collectors now who are like, no, but those shoes were hot back then because I saw people wearing them. But then there's also collectors now who weren't actually into shoes back then who are writing revisionist history saying that like, no, these shoes are actually a really cool concept that Jordan Brand executed. And it's like,
Here's another thing I'll say, and I don't think it's like there's some collectors who are going back and
buying Fusions.
not Fusions per se, ugly Jordans because they love them, and like even on the show, I know that it's come up like, oh, no one fucked with these, but I like them. I think Offset did it. Billie Eilish said it in a way earlier episode. It's like a thing like,
Well, she's like Jordan 15s.
but even like, but she said like the ugliest Jordans.
I feel like Lil Yachty has some of those really ugly.
And I think they're
LS
exactly.
colorways.
I think
Well, when he
that's
came on
a thing.
full size run, he wore like, and a
The
lot of people
eights.
used to consider that was one of the ugliest Jordans of all time. Was that
Brown
and
low.
Yeah,
brown
so
and
I
pink,
think it's
yeah.
a thing that collectors are doing. No mellow slander ever tolerated this Jordan 20 Flyknit rag and bone mellow olive. What do you guys? There's even
Just a
saying
shoe
that.
that you would tell
Doesn't
me
need to
that
happen.
exists,
What was
and
the
I'd be
story
like,
behind
There's no
it?
way that Mellow did a rag and bone collab.
What was the
I
story?
don't-
Well,
I
here
don't
we can have people can argue that. I mean, at least for the longest time, some people might say that the Air Jordan 20 was the worst Air Jordan of all time.
Oh, actual models?
Yeah.
Air Jordan 2009.
Well, that's
think.
what
Air
I had
Jordan
put it.
20,
Sorry,
no way.
I had forgot
No
to.
way. The
I forgot to
Stealth
put it
OG?
Air
on.
Jordan 2010.
I forgot to put it on the list because I had a couple of shoes, but the Air Jordan 2010 to me is probably the most egregious Air Jordan ever.
That came up a lot, but the 20 I love.
But I feel like the 20 was like a love it or hate it shoe because
colorway.
it's such a, I don't want to say divisive design, but like it doesn't look like anything else in the Jordan line. It's like that weird like Huarache-esque with the big strap. And some people love it, right?
Yep,
Some people
I
love
do.
it, but it's not an easy to wear shoe
No.
by any regards. And I remember when talking about the countdown packs that
Yeah.
come out, we had one countdown pack left, size 8.5, black cement 3s. But it came with an all black Jordan 20.
Yeah.
And nobody would purchase it because like, what the heck am I going to do with the other shoe?
Even though you had something as good as a
The
Black
anchor.
Cement 3.
Yeah, Black Cement 3 was anchoring it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the 20 has done okay as a retro shoe. They've
I like
brought
the
it
20.
back, and I feel
But in like
people are into
very small numbers where it's like
Yeah.
there's not like a full run where like this is the 20s year.
it. Yeah. Let me ask you this: when we're considering the worst Air Jordans of all time, do we include or exclude the kids versions? Because there are some truly heinous kids Air Jordan colorways, some DS exclusives that
I feel like you got to leave it out.
just for the kiddos.
Yeah, and it's like if majority of collectors weren't buying and wearing that, then I feel like
Yeah. Because when I posted this on X, and thank you to everybody who responded, one of the shoes that immediately came up was this Plaid Air Jordan 5 with all the different patterns on it. Joe, you got to look these up real quick.
Oh my God.
it gets a pass though.
It gets
You
a pass.
see this one?
Yeah, I've seen
This
that.
may be the ugliest one of all time.
But I feel like it gets a pass in,
Okay.
in the
Because
sense
it's a
that
GS shoe.
it's a kid shoe. I
Did
like
the kid design it?
no, but it stinks. But it's not like any of us would ever even wear the shoe. So it's kind of like a
Yeah.
weird asterisk where
Yeah.
it's like
This looks like a bad Photoshop.
Yeah.
One that we're not including is the 61723.
Well, so, okay, when we talk about the worst Air Jordans of all time, I guess one of the top line questions is, do you consider hybrids and things like that?
Of
or do you-
course.
Okay.
because to me, and I had put it was like, well, to me, one of the worst Air Jordans of all time is the Dub Zero.
Disagree. You're wiling.
You're
You
defending
like
the
Dub Zeros?
Love the Dub Zeros. Love them.
You love Dubs. You don't love Dub Zeros.
I went up back in the. I mean, I don't wear them now, but back. In
Would
the
you
day, I
wear?
liked
Would you
them.
wear a Dub Zero nowadays?
Right now? No, but back in the day, I really liked them. I thought they were
When
great shoes.
when was the last year?
that I would wear Dub Zeros?
Yes.
2023.
No, but I don't think.
Come on.
The white and blue.
Go back in time. When was the last year you think you've actually would have put in a pair of Dub Zeros on your feet?
Long time ago, but I don't think that they're.
Before 2010?
Yeah. Yes.
You
You think I would be wearing Dub Zeros before?
Yeah, but if you said you wouldn't even wear it like for
I don't think
all
they're-
those years,
I don't think they're one of the worst though.
for the past 15 years you wouldn't have put a pair of Dub Zeros on your feet.
Would you?
No.
But
But
he's
I'm
saying
also
he doesn't
I also
like the
said it was
shoe.
one of the worst Air Jordans of all time.
I don't think it is.
What about Spizikes?
No.
Spizikes are good. I'm always going to say Spizikes.
I don't think they're good, but I think they get a pass.
I don't think they get a pass. I think they're fine.
I like the first two colorways that
Yeah.
they did, but I think there's a lot of atrocious. Like to me, that Do the Right Thing Spizike is one of
Yeah.
the worst Air Jordans of all
I think
time.
the Do the Right Thing Jordan 3 as well is just quite bad.
That's another shoe that gets a lot of people in debates, and I don't want to say it's like a revisionist history shoe, but I don't think that shoe was as hot when it came out. I think people were a little disappointed by it in general, just because the idea you're like they're doing a Spike Lee themed Air Jordan 3, which you just feel like would
should be automatic.
and it's based off of Do the Right Thing, which is a big thing in like the culture in general, but you have to think of like that not the early 2000s, like that 2000 sneaker culture. Do the Right Thing was like one of the, it's like Ghostface, Do the Right Thing, MF Doom. These were like all the references that were popular at that time.
6/17/23 gets a pass because it was the official Kemba Walker 2011 tournament run.
Still a bad shoe.
I almost went to Foot Action to get them because I was so excited about.
Don't they have like the musical notes like on the strap?
They were calling them the Aquas, which they're not the Aquas, but
What about the Jordan 60 Plus?
That's like a fake 5.
I think that's one of the worst. It's a hybrid of all the models that he scored 60
plus
or more
points,
in, if I recall correctly.
It's just like
not great. Guys.
it's just like a team. Like to me,
way
it's
bad than not great.
Not
It's
just
way
like-
worse than not great.
But I think the
Great.
60 plus is like it's bad, but it's like a team Jordan. Where I guess you could say 6/17/23, but I'm like,
So what do you mean by that? You're saying like the bar is lower and we're not.
well, I feel like there's a lot of like bad team Jordans, but I'm not even going to include them in like the worst Air Jordans of all time because it's almost just like a separate category.
Yeah, I guess that's why I was asking the question of like, do we consider hybrids in these arguments?
I think, and we like glossed over it, the Air Jordan 2010 is awful.
Yeah, you brought that up.
I know, but like with a clear panel on the side, there's the picture of I think on the Soul Collector magazine.
I went to
with,
that launch.
with Michael Jordan and Dwayne Wade both holding the shoe.
Yep, I went to that launch.
Did you wear the shoes?
Oh, good question. Maybe.
You know what's crazy is that those shoes are selling for like $500 on
Really?
StockX.
What?
Well, I mean they've never retroed them since, so it's just like
You have to spend that much money.
It
to
is
get a
that
pair of
classic
Jordan
photo. It's Wade and
2010s?
who?
Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're holding the.
Yeah.
To me, one of the worst Air Jordans of all time is the baseball pack Air Jordan 9.
Really bad.
With the
Really
mitt?
bad.
With the mitt.
Really
yeah,
bad.
It's like
It's like
heavy
another thing. It's
stitching.
like cool concept. You're
Yeah,
gonna take
yeah,
like
yeah.
you're gonna take baseball glove leather, Michael Jordan baseball guy,
Really bad.
celebrate his career, and then
The lace, the
and then you put like the webbing
lacing.
on it.
Yeah, the web, exactly. The lacing, just not it.
This is one of the worst Air Jordans of all time to me. It was one of the coolest Air Jordan campaigns of all time.
Let's hear it.
That brought out one of the worst shoes. You're gonna have to look this one up. It's Air Jordan 1 Leroy Smith.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's on here. It's a lot going on. Yeah.
So that
much going on.
that shoe was inspired by when Michael Jordan got cut from the basketball team. Supposedly the guy who, I don't know if it was his real name or not, but it was the guy who made the team in front of him was Leroy Smith.
Cool story.
Right? But they got
cool story,
Cool story.
bro.
Yeah,
literally
though,
exactly
it
that.
is. It is a cool story.
But they got Charlie Murphy to play Leroy Smith as like Charlie Murphy as like a guy in his 50s who's like, oh, I beat Michael Jordan back
Yeah.
in the day, and he's like this old washed up dude trying to sell karate and kung fu. Straight,
That is a cool story.
Straight to
Tiger
VHS.
Filament, yeah.
I remember just those commercials playing at Foot Locker all the time, and they were funny. And you're like, oh, cool, they got Charlie Murphy to do an ad campaign
Yeah.
for Jordan. Then you drop just an awful sneaker.
When I was posting about this on X, asking for responses, somebody was just like, all the Jordans in the 30s, like everything from 30. It's
Did
up
you
Yeah.
go
now.
through your mentions just now yet?
Yeah, I'll
I'm
check
gonna-
again.
I can look them. I'll look it.
Also, I think the Air Jordan 29 is not that bad as a silhouette, but that version of the 29 where they did the elephant print on it,
Yeah.
I just thought that when they first rolled that out, I was immediately like, this looks terrible. And it's a disclaimer we'll have to put on these things, but in most cases or in all cases when it comes to Jordans, I'm talking about looks. I'm not making any judgments on the performance benefits of these shoes. You could go ask wear testers for that. You could go ask Active Basic for that. Some of the shoes actually our Active Basic, our coworker, he's a huge Jordan 28. What's the scuba one? The 28. He loves that shoe because he feels like it's one of the best playing ones ever, and he would play
On-court
through
legend.
them and blow them out all the time. But the Jordan 20. The Jordan, is the Jordan 28 one of the worst of all time?
I kind of like that shoe with the sock up it.
Yeah, just because it's so different.
Oh boy.
There was the All-Star Weekend pair. It was like white leather with like a bamboo sole.
Yeah,
on it.
well, we're gonna go ahead and call the Air Jordan 28 good.
I think there was a Ray Allen P of those.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
8:57 a.m. Worst Air Jordans of all time, tweeted by Brendan Dunne. 9:57 a.m. Premium Pete, the ones Matt Welty wore in junior high school.
Come on,
There
Well,
weren't-
the
there
only
weren't any.
Jordans Welty had when
There
he was a
weren't
kid
any.
were the Aqua 8s. So
Yeah, there weren't any.
Here's another one that I agree with that I believe, if I'm thinking correctly, Bruce Drop 'em Off brought them up on Sneaker Shopping. Which, when we were having the discussion yesterday, I was like, these are in my
Yeah.
pantheon. Jordan 5 retro, 3 lab 5.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about the cement print pair?
All cement print.
With the
All
elephant
bad.
all over, I don't think those are that bad.
What?
I think that was a cool shoe at the time. I know what it looks like. You don't have to tell me. I thought that was a fine shoe.
You were stepping out in these?
I was not stepping out in these, but I remember, I'm just going to be honest, I wanted them at the time with the elephant print all over the upper. I thought that
No
the
judgments.
lab stuff, I thought there were some cool Jordans in the lab stuff, the all reflective 3s,
What about the patent leather ones that I loved and everyone hated?
the patent leather Jordan 4s.
4s.
11 lab 4.
I wore the black ones, not the red ones. These?
You didn't need those.
Okay, well, these?
Those are not worse than the patent leather 4s.
Black ones? Yes, they are.
I have a soft spot for that one because the first ever Jordan paint job to be in NASCAR was actually the 5 Lab 3. It was a blue.
That's the syntax of it. It's like, I remember trying to just like,
I think it's 3 Lab 5.
so the second shoe is the base shoe. And
No, the second shoe is the base shoe, and then the inspiration is the
Yeah.
first one.
yeah.
Rough one, boys.
Someone said Jordan Futures. You can't put Jordan Futures.
No
in there.
way.
It's worse.
No.
That's a classic revisionist history shoe, and we talked about.
They were
it on here
hot when
before,
they
I
came
think.
out.
Yeah,
And they were
Jacques
comfortable.
Slade being like, "Look, this you guys got to remember this. This was a good shoe when it."
Well, because
came out.
they had the 11 sole on it, and it was like a fusion-esque shoe that people were actually excited about.
I like
Yeah.
them. I think it was a good shoe.
Do Gamma 11s get a nod as one of the worst Air Jordans of all
No,
time?
don't even start. Now you're
Welty, I am always here for the Gamma Air Jordan 11. Hey, I am always here to like bring down that shoe status, but I don't think that there's any Jordan 11 colorway.
What's the worst Air Jordan 11 of all time?
Okay, it might be the Gammas. It might be the Pantone Air Jordan 11 that you had to buy in the pack with the Jordan 29, which
That's
totally
the one that
did.
your guy Matt Harvey said he got stolen out of his locker at UNC.
Talk about revisionist history or just straight lies.
classic episode.
Just absolute lies.
Leave him
but
alone. Classic episode. I believe everything he said is.
Wait, so what's the worst Air Jordan 11 of all time?
and we can't consider the IE low, right? Because if
No,
you,
that
if you
doesn't
put
count.
the IE low in there, then like the Volt Air Jordan 11 IE low. Somebody mentioned to me when I asked for worst.
there
of all
was a-
time,
there was
that
a-
one's super bad.
There was a Do the Right Thing colorway IE
yeah,
low. Those are awful.
yucky.
What is it? What's the
on.
worst Air Jordan 11 of all time?
What do you think?
Only the mids.
Yeah, no low tops,
Okay.
just like straight.
I think it's Gamma. It's either
No.
Gamma or Pantone. Joe, okay, if not, then what? What's the worst Air Jordan 11 of all time? You can't say any of the OG colorways. We'll kick you off the show promptly. Is it the 72 and 10? Like 72
No.
and 10 you could nominate?
Oof. No.
Can't be the silver anniversary. That wasn't that offensive. The all-white pair without
Platinum
the Jumpman.
tint.
Platinum tint Air Jordan 11?
Not great. These are the
I
gammas
don't
are
even
better
remember
than
that
the
one.
gammas are better than these. The gammas
Those are pretty bad.
these.
Those, yeah, aren't those suede too?
Okay, they asked. I answered. Okay, the gammas aren't that bad,
All right.
but
You gonna be wearing a pair this year, Joe?
no.
Are you
And
gonna
I'm
be
not
camping
wearing.
out for the Gamma 11s?
Am I going to camp out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun.
I am.
You got me.
I
You
am.
got me.
I actually am. I was thinking about it.
Wait,
I am.
This is one bit of Jordan revisionist history I feel like we need to talk about, and I feel like you
here we
had
go.
no, because
What do I
you
need to
fell
do?
on the side of this fence too recently. We had put
All
out
over the fence? That was like a Welty broke his elbow.
Fence
Yeah,
or the
that
sword
happened.
or
So we had put out a graphic on Instagram or a post, whatever, AI rendered image of the Air Jordan Mount Rushmore, right? Air Jordan 1, Air Jordan 3, Air Jordan 4, Air Jordan 11. And Joe and some other people in the comments, and I feel like, not that it isn't a great Air Jordan, but pure, I don't want to say revisionist history, but I want to say victim of the moment thing, saying that, I don't know, those the fives this year got me thinking they're on the Mount Rushmore.
I was aura farming. I was aura farming. I don't believe that. I don't believe they're on the Mount Rushmore. I was getting
People
the
were saying that,
I
though.
was getting my engagement, you know?
Did it work? Did it yield great results? Are you
It
happy?
was
You
revisionist
proud of
history.
yourself?
I will say though,
To say the 5 over the 11,
it's not. It's not. But
Should we crack the tier list back open?
if there was
Relitigate
another
the whole thing, we could do this for another hour.
listen, if
If
there was
another hour on this podcast,
another
you can't remake Mount Rushmore.
hold on, if there was another spot on Mount Rushmore, maybe the 5 would be on there. If there was
Over the
another
6?
spot on the
There's not.
AI, yes, 5 over 6. Yeah.
Black metallic 5s
Yes.
over black infrared 6.
I think so.
I actually don't want to even give you a response because I can't remember how I felt about this when we did the Jordan tier list, and I don't want my
You don't want to
response now
contradict?
to contradict whatever we said
The
in the
black
Jordan tier list.
metallic 5s this year,
Dude, black infrared 6s are so
really good.
Why are we
Really
talking
good.
about good? I want to hate on Jordans. I want to talk about bad
It's a
Jordans.
tough
I want to talk
one.
about a Jordan
We got to show the people that we actually have some affinity
That's
for,
a tough one.
for
But
some models too, or else we'll just
Oof.
be like, oh, you guys are just hating on ugly Jordans you found on the internet.
No, we got a lot of Jordans in the stash.
Oh, you know Jordan 7? I know that you hate
Tell me.
those Miro Jordan 7s.
No, I'm not that
Really?
offended by it. I don't love that.
they were
colorway,
so
but,
limited. And
but yeah, that's some of these shoes you're like they were limited, and that's the only thing you could say about them. No, that one's not that offensive to me. Welty, do you have a pick for just worst Air Jordan ever? I'm putting a full stop on it. Air Jordan 7 Filbert, the J2K situations.
I'm going with that 2020 women's one. And then if I had to pick one,
That
that's
Jordan 2, that multicolored Jordan 2.
Yeah, but if I had to pick one that's like more kind of like in the zeitgeist, I would say that Jordan 5 Lab 3.5.
Yeah.
Wait. Sorry. What about the Joker Jordan 3?
Oh, that's
no,
a bad.
no, my boy bought
See,
that.
so that's a shoe that's going to get us.
No,
It's
my
going
boy
to get
bought
us
that.
hate.
My
No,
friend
it's
bought
going to get
that.
us hate because we can say here and say, hey, I don't like the way that shoe looks.
Yeah.
But to be fair,
It's not the worst.
our guy Travie McCoy on Full Size Run, go watch the episode, said they should have had him. They should have had him design the Joker 3 because he said that they completely bricked that shoe, right?
That's just pop
R.I.P.
culture
Heath
history.
Ledger.
That is just pop culture history. Can you give us one though?
I really think it's the. I know it's not like the sexy choice.
What?
It's the Air Jordan 2010 is like the worst Air Jordan of all time.
You're going model though, not colorway,
I mean,
or
it's-
just as a whole.
yeah, putting a friggin' see-through piece of plastic on
Kind
this.
of awesome. I don't know, man.
Can we recreate the image?
I mean,
AI will do it.
yeah.
I want to say originally, so you go back and look, and people be like, "Oh, it's cool that they did that," but like at the time when that shoe came out, like,
Kind of awesome.
you think it's cool?
Kinda.
I just think it's
I
absurd.
think
and I
maybe-
like
maybe
absurd
I'm-
spyglass
footwear.
on the shoe.
Wait, maybe it was the launch event in Chicago. Maybe I was at the W in Chicago, just being a total stan. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
total
I made,
sycophant.
exactly. Like, yeah, him talking about the Nike SB. It
Oh my
should be
God.
the history, and I will.
Oh my god, I was
do
not
a
doing that.
fine-tooth
I was
comb,
not doing that at all.
And
I was
better
explaining.
see a Janowski, and I better see, or you're not getting the Costins. If you don't have 3 dunks, okay.
Although, if
This
I
isn't the worst though. 2010's kind of cool.
all right, maybe that's the worst.
You made the video. You said it in the video.
Yeah.
You asked the question.
I think I've told you guys before when I was working at Foot Locker in Saugus, Massachusetts. I think the year's 2009 or 2010, and it was the Air Jordan 9 Fusions, which, and I feel like the 9 Fusions looked even more like just the 9s because the
Yeah.
9 kind of looks like, it doesn't look like a Fusion, but
No visible air bubble that they had to leave.
a lot of people would come in and be like, "Oh wait, I thought these were the 9s," you
Yeah.
know, and they whatever. But some random kid or guy, I don't know, someone in their late teens, early 20s,
No.
had gone up to the kid shoe wall and grabbed a pair of Fusion 9s, and he's like, "Give me these in 8.5," and we're like, "Hey man, it's a kid shoe." He's like, give me the shoe in 8.5. I'm like, "We don't have it. We just have the kid sizes."
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't have been like any sort of like consternation. It's just like, you grabbed a kid shoe. We don't have it in men's sizes. Like, I don't know what to
Kick
tell
rocks.
you. And he got really, really upset, spit at me, and then walked out of the store and took his arm and just knocked like 7 shoes off the
What'd
wall.
you do when he spit at you?
I mean, he didn't hit me in the face. Like, it was like he was standing like 12 feet away and like spit at me.
What would happen if that happened now? Immediate.
Going to the floor.
Man, I feel like
Unless-
I don't want to
unless-
fight someone, but like if someone spits in your face,
Really bad.
that's like a real like.
It's assault. Really bad, but if they were these and you were giving him attitude, maybe a loogie. These aren't bad.
I'm not
These
laughing
olive?
because that happened to you, because
No.
that is the deplorable behavior. But
Over
I just
that shoe?
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah,
like
come on.
looking back on it. If you're that guy and you were that upset
I
about
hope-
the Jordan 9 Fusion, listen, if you went in there and you couldn't get the retros or they didn't have the Nigel bricks for you or
You
something
know?
like that, but I'm not talking about Pusha T, son. But you do this for The Fusion 9s?
Was it at least the black olive one?
No, it
Oh.
was the Carolina Blue Fusion 9s.
Did you have to go take a walk around the mall and calm down? Did you go to Sarku, Japan a little
Man,
earlier
I was-
that day?
You go cartoon mode with the steam coming
I'll be
out of
honest
your
with you,
ears.
though,
Just riding the little ponies.
those were the moments.
You know those things they have.
Oh, I know them.
Yeah.
No, I know them
I could see you doing that
Those,
actually.
those were the moments that made me realize that I didn't want to work in a sneaker store forever.
Oh, I've had so many of those.
And here we are.
Not that I didn't want to work, but so many. Not spitting though. Bad.
Yeah.
Sneaker store and sneaker media.
Sneaker media. Light work.
You know what's funny is, as much as we think about it, right, and laugh about
Sneaker
it,
media-
sneaker media is light work compared to working in a sneaker store.
do you
I
mean?
never
They-
worked in a sneaker store, so I can't comment.
We were in Brooklyn. They would come in. The new era hats were like that complex.
Freaking
sneakers
go
pop-
steal a trillion of them.
No, like this.
Joe's getting a
What do you mean?
demonstration
In
here.
Brooklyn, they were coming. Look, the whole new era Yankee fitteds
Yeah, just yank them all.
looking at me.
Look at you making direct eye contact with you and walking out of the store
That's
with
it.
them. That's just the disrespect.
Sneaker media. Come on now.
Oh,
Come
we've
on
been
now.
disrespected, but
Yeah, check the
we're still
resume.
here, yeah.
We're in the trenches a little bit, okay?
A lot.
Listen, we want to know what you think the worst Jordans are, because it's a very subjective list.
Yeah.
We know that.
They all are. Well,
It could go on forever. There's some that I think make everyone's
are they
list,
all
but
subjective?
drop in the
Sneaker of the year wasn't subjective. We got those right. Go on.
true. Drop in the comments what you guys think are the worst Jordans of all time. Good job on that video.
Thanks.
We'll be back next week, right?
Yes, we will be back next week. You know, summer a little spotty, warm weather, schedule a little spotty.
Wait, can we consider this one the worst Air Jordans of all time? It just came to me. Remember the Air Jordan 1.5?
No, that's not that bad.
See now? Okay, no.
You just
Now
throw
I'm going to
stuff
send you to
against the wall.
Sarku like the mall. Jordan 1.5 wasn't that bad.
Yeah. You mean
Good
like the
story.
one that was like the old sample with the 2 sole?
Yeah, you give him
They
an
was
inch, he'll take a yard.
I don't know. Those were.
They were fine.
All right, everyone. This has been the Complex Sneakers Podcast. We hope everyone has a great weekend. Please like, subscribe, comment what you think the worst Jordans of all time are. And we will see you next week.